today's host, Quis Evans. Today we have a good brother, Black educator straight out of Georgia. Could you please introduce yourself to us?
How y'all doing today? My name is Michael Ikuesan.
Yes, sir. All right, so what you do out there, man?
So I currently am an educator. I work at Tucker Middle School. I recently was promoted to an international baccalaureate coordinator, which essentially is a position where we promote kids to understand their responsibility in the community. Through that, I help teachers create lessons just to make sure that the students are looking at things from a global perspective and not necessarily focusing on themselves, but us together. And then also creating school projects so that the students can have that experience of actually helping in the community.
Like, to be honest, bro, I really feel like you have a very essential role. I really feel like that's needed, especially at the school that I work at. But like when you apply for this role, like what is the importance of this role to you? Like what are your thoughts about the role that you're in and how important it is to you?
I think a big thing with this role is just understanding culture, understanding that we all are different, and understand that we all play a major role in society, and just making sure that we're just moving together as a unit, just as, Americans or anyone just in the world.
Yeah. And so when it comes to that, like, what is your definition of community?
Community.
Community.
My definition of community, I guess the best way that I would define community would be more so be an illustration. And that illustration would be, I would like to see just several individuals locking arms and creating that support for one another. And that's essentially the way that I would view or will want to see how a community should look.
Yeah, right with it. So basically, with us being educators, working in the education field, like, of course, knowledge it's cliche to say knowledge is power, but it's actually true. You feel me?
Yes.
Like everything is grounded through knowledge. So with this, the police brutality that's going on, it's sad that we're in 2020 and we have to really chant Black Lives Matter still to this day.
Right.
But when you hear the statement "Black Minds Matter" equals Black Lives Matter, what does that resonate to you when you hear that?
So when I first heard that statement, ironically, it was I think about a week ago. I was reading a couple articles, and Black Minds Matter focuses on just mental health, first of all, and just understanding that the mental health of African Americans does matter. And if we don't take care of our mental health, or if we don't put our mental health first, then there won't be any Black lives, because we have to take care of ourselves first. And so in saying that, again, I'm focusing solely on just the mental. So when it comes to Black Minds Matter equals Black Lives Matter, if we don't take care of ourselves mentally, dealing with our traumas, dealing with, things that, may affect us emotionally, and really just speaking up and communicating that, Black Lives Matter it won't exist.
Mm-hmm. And going back on what you said, I just really feel like us as people, like, we handle our traumas kind of differently, and we are the type of people where we're like we go through it, we'll empathize, and then we'll keep it going. But it's just like we'll keep going without even dealing with the pain that we have inside, and then just build up.
We never fix it. It's never fixed.
Yeah.
I don't think mental health or just being emotional or vulnerable was a thing for us back when we were growing up. I'm used to our parents, just when we're hurt, our parents would say, "Hey, go to sleep, or go lay down, or go grab some water." You know what I mean? Right, some things like that. And we're literally going through things like mentally or emotionally, but it just was looking completely different.
I think you paused there for a minute. Like, what was the last statement you said?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you.
Okay, so yeah, so all I was saying was just now looking at now comparing it to the past, mental health is completely different. It's not a bad thing. It's slowly being accepted by everybody. And you know, if we just continue to communicate, I think things will be better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. So basically, when I grew up, we had a officer by the name of Officer Warmack and Officer Miller or whatever. And these were officers that knew us since we were in elementary school, middle school, and high school. Um, they developed these relationships with us to let us know if
Going in and out. See if this one works.
thank you, screen frozen. If you wanted to exit out and join again,
All right, let's see if maybe I need to.
yes, sir.
All right, I'm back. I'm not sure what's going on. My Wi-Fi is full bars.
Well, it's funny. We were just having that conversation about how important the internet is during these times, like during this distance.
Man, a completely different level,
Internet,
man.
bro, you just disconnect from everybody.
Yes, things are shifting. Technology is definitely showing us how important it is right now.
Yeah, straight up. Like that's speaking of that's like where we need to invest these stocks in straight up.
Exactly. I have some Apple stock right now I'm looking at.
Black wealth.
Yes.
So like I was saying, basically, when I was growing up, we had an officer by the name of Officer Warmack, and then we had Officer Miller. Funny, we used to call Officer Miller RoboCop, but it's
Oh,
like 6'8" black guy, like, but he was cool. Like he had a warm and demanding personality. Like you knew he meant business, but at the same time, it's just like he knew how to deliver the message to you or whatever. So
exactly.
they developed these relationships with us to a point where when we got in high school, when we made everybody make mistakes, they were they were able to correct us. They knew who our parents were. They knew everything, like because they formed these relationships with us. So with this going on, I feel like a lot of my scholars they're not connected to any police officers. So when they see all these negative stories, they just think that all the officers are bad or whatever. So I was thinking of an idea of like of a police officer basically having mandatory hours that they got to spend in the school in the area that they patrol. Like, what do you think about it?
Yes, I actually agree. That sounds like a great idea. I honestly would even push towards that particular county.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, here in DeKalb County, that the DeKalb County police precinct will actually come to the schools. Like they would go around to the schools, and it could be 2 or 3 police. It doesn't have to be the entire organization, but actually come and volunteer to the schools. Like show your face. Let people know that you're actually here to support the school and the community itself, and
Mm-hmm.
allow them to create like everlasting relationships with that school. If this person starts here, let them stay there for a couple years so that they can build that relationship with those kids.
And I look at it like in a classroom, like whenever a teacher first comes in the classroom, like you just can't come in there demanding. You have to build that relationship with your classroom first. So therefore, if you do have to correct them on something, it's like they already develop that relationship with you, so it's gonna be an easier process when it comes to doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So before we close, man, just any final thoughts? Like right now, we're not in social distance. You're inside of my homeroom class right now. It's 32 kids right in front of you. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to leave them with?
If I was not in social distancing right now, I would tell my kids to never allow anyone to take away their identity. I
Mm-hmm.
think our identity shapes our experiences and really who we are. And if we really understand who we are, we can go further in life.
Yes.
I just think that that's a really big thing in such a social media world where we have everything at our fingertips and we're constantly dreaming and wanting different things, but never really understanding the root or the authentic part of ourselves. So I would just tell our kids, like, look, make sure that you understand who you are, understand your identity, and never let anyone take that away from you.
100, I absolutely agree. You heard it from him and yourself. Before we leave, I thought that was the last one. Out here in California, we have A through G requirements. I don't know what they're called in Georgia, but basically these are the requirements where a high school scholar must complete for him to be accepted into a four-year university. A lot of high schools out here, they promote like, oh yeah, we graduated this amount of kids, black kids, whoop de whoop, but they just say a school graduates like 200 black scholars, like only 36 of them met A through G requirements to go to college. So it's just like, what type of message are you sending to them? So it's like, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your thoughts about how parents should react when they hear news about this? It's like, do you feel like we need more parent involvement when it comes to matters like this, so therefore we can avoid situations where these scholars go through high school not even knowing what's going on? Like, how do you what is your take on parent involvement when it comes to that situation?
Definitely. I think parent involvement is very important, especially when you are trying to raise a child to be successful or even to be able to be admitted into college. I think that the program that you have in California is amazing because there are definitely things that you should learn just prior to going to college. And sometimes the school system can't just teach you that. And parents need to understand that the village is not just the school. When we use the term the village, it takes a village to take care of kids, or it takes a village to raise a kid. The village is just not the school. The village is the community, it's the parents, it's the police precinct, it's everybody in that particular area taking turns to do what they have to do to raise that child. So when it comes to that particular program, you can't just leave it on the administrators or the facilitators to raise this kid to be successful in the future.
Mm-hmm.
They're only with those kids a certain amount of times throughout the day. And the parents should have a better relationship with their own kids to be able to give them advice, to be able to create a plan or sit down with them and create guidelines to ensure that they're successful, because there's only so much that a teacher or educator or a program director can do for a kid. So I think, again, parents need to understand that when we talk about raising a kid and the village raising the kid, the village is just not the school. It's the parents, it's everyone in that community.
Exactly. It's like an organization.
Exactly.
Like, for example, if you think about organ, each organ in your body has a job to do, but at the end of the day, the overall mission is to keep your ass alive.
Keep you alive.
So it's like everybody has to play their role. Like, we just can't say, hey, we're just gonna depend on the stomach to help us survive. So it's like, I did what you're saying. I really appreciate that knowledge, bro.
Exactly, man.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man, and we done.
All right, my brother.